Hey everybody, my name is Zizzo3 and welcome to the last of this split UKLC playoff game Anarchy analysis. Today it's the final between Diabolus and Fnatic Rising, and we're going through all three games in this bumper episode, and as such we have a fight in game 1 around 30 minutes in, which starts off with a siege onto the towers. Fnatic Rising are pushing into Diabolus' base with a hefty lead at this point. They immediately sound the Yawn Horn to zone away Diabolus from this turret so they can immediately take it down. The Yawn Horn gets sounded, and he also steps up alongside Lucian on Fnatic Rising side to take this turret down. Once the turret drops, that is the sign for Diabolus to go in or go broke, and the Rakan immediately launches himself from the Cho'Gath into Fnatic Rising, knocking up 3. You would have thought. NANI? Lucian at the same time dashes away, avoiding the taunt and the knockup from this Rakan, and starts piling in the damage on Lissandra. Because of this, Lissandra immediately drops her ult onto Lucian, stopping his movement, all while Diabolus is setting up the flank from the side. And while this is all going on, after Rakan knocks up the bulk of the Fnatic side, the Braum and the Ornn, who gets dropped during this, it basically means that there's all the damage on Rising side is available and can just keep going in, like the Lucian has done. The Rise is currently behind all the team and is looking to get in and burst out people as he takes down the Rakan before he can actually taunt up any of the damage on Rising's side. As this goes on, Lissandra allows the Jarvan to jump in a sense a wombo combo of her ultimate and the Cataclysm from the Jarvan onto the Lucian, just taking him out of the fight as he has his GA popped. This is one or two GAs that are in this fight. During this time, the Lissandra goes golden, because she's basically useless at this point. She's used her full combo, and she's basically dead because she's on a sliver of health. After this, Rising just stay, because they realise all our damage is available, and Lissandra just dies off here, which leaves 3 members of Diabolus available to stay and fight. One of them is a Vayne, who at this point in the game has scaled up. She hasn't had the best games, to be honest, but she's a threat in this fight. She misses the condemn onto the Rek'Sai, doesn't even stun him. That just leaves the team to die in a sense, as granted they do pick up the Braum, which also leaves 3 weak members on Rising side. Even though one of them has a GA, there's still not much they can do, as the Rise is basically untouched. They step back slightly, forcing the chase out with the 2 live members, as Jarvan has just died during this, as he used all his combo and was basically useless, and overall he didn't have the best of fight, honestly, as his engage was way too late, as all of the damage had been done at that point. But Fnatic Rising bait in the Vayne and the Cho'Gath, and the Rek'Sai tunnels in onto the Vayne, unburrows, the Rise full combos her, immediate lock up with the electrocute and then the Q to kill her off, giving him a full shield to deal with this Cho'Gath, as the 3 members just stun him up, keep him pinned in, and win the team fight from this. Immediately Rising TP in and just end the game, which was really one-sided. Now let's move on to the second game, folks, as this one also was really one-sided. So the next fight happens 23 minutes into the game, a game which was heavily one-sided to Fnatic Rising, ending something like 13-1 in kills. And we're at the Baron Dance part of the game, as in a previous engage, Diabolus had blown all of their summers, keeping everyone alive. They had really no way of getting into the Baron pit. Because of this, Rising decide to bait the Baron, forcing an overextension from the Diabolus members, as immediately the Zilean, who could self-revive, gets caught out during this, and he oversteps by taking a complete and utter disgusting Varus to his head, and that allows the Braum to just come in, get his Q and stun onto this Zillion and stop him from running. After this, during this time, Lissandra also jumps over the wall with a claw and locks up the Rakan, stopping his ability to jump over the wall and take an attempt to steal Baron. He just gets absolutely annihilated. After this, a little bit more of a skirmish between all the members of Diabolus and Fnatic happen, and then Lissandra slightly oversteps, however is able to actually get out of the fight. This then allows the rest of Fnatic Rising to collapse onto the Jarvan, who has flagged and dragged over the Lissandra, trying to kill her and stop her from progressing. While all of this is happening, the Varus is still tanking up on Baron and takes out the Baron before the end of the fight, as the rest of Diabolus' members get chased down and taken out. Because of this game being so one-sided, there wasn't much to talk about during this fight, as Fnatic Rising were severely overpowered and caused so much hassle for this Diabolus team that Fnatic Rising thought they might give a chance to Diabolus by switching out their support going into game numero 3. And finally, the last team fight happened 35 minutes into the game, in which is just something infamous with Fnatic. It is the Fnatic Death Brush, as Jarvan is coming out to clear the wards and the vision of Fnatic. He just oversteps into the Rakan, who immediately locks him up. He then's just like, nah, screw this, I'm going golden. He pops his stopwatch as the Syndra lands a Scare of the Week onto two members, which were the Rek'Sai and the Poppy, which tells Fnatic, get out, we do not want to be in this fight, because this does not favour us at all. They disengage, running it up the river away from Fnatic. As this happens, Sion thinks, I could catch some of these members, and Poppy can't do much about me because she just used her W, and her W doesn't stop my ult, as I'm unstoppable. So he immediately pops the charge of his choo-choo train, and he hits a very tanky Poppy. He, however, isn't that tanky, as he's only got armor at this point in the game. He's up against a Zoe, who, as we know, Zoes who have a lead, who have a Baron, tend to do a lot of damage. And she just goes, here, you get stunned, and here's a nice paddle star to kill you off. Also, another member of his Braum also gets caught out during this, and he just takes him down. While the rest of Diabolus scatter, Poppy chases down the Jarvan and just solos him, basically meaning he doesn't get a nice time. This then leads to 2 turrets falling and an inhibitor for Fnatic Rising, which then leads to them setting up an easy third Baron, and one last pop on the Kaiser by the Zoe. And that's basically the final in a nutshell. Analysed and broken down each team fight that basically was a game-winning team fight. Overall, it was a fairly one-sided game. You think the amount of times Diabolus have played Fnatic this season and the amount of times that Fnatic have lost to Diabolus, you would have thought that it would be a bit more of a close competition. However, Fnatic have a thing going into playoffs with their main team, where they just turn up and show who's boss. This also qualified Fnatic for EU Masters as well, which should be an interesting tournament to watch. But that's the end of this series, which I did say a couple of seconds ago, it was fairly one-sided, and Diabolus maybe had an off day, maybe they were just outclassed, but Fnatic were able to bring in 2 subs, which were both their support players playing, and they showed why they're a really strong team. Honestly, I thought that this season, my top 2 teams were XL and Fnatic. I wasn't expecting Diabolus to be so high, or M&M, but we got a really good season. I didn't watch all the matches, I definitely watched all the tower matches though, and have broken them down. I did miss 1 week, I'm sorry about that. I've missed 2 weeks actually. I missed this week's technically, but I knew I was doing playoffs because it's playoffs, of course I'm going to analyse it. I'd like to give a huge thanks to Space Rainbow for basically animating all of these episodes into something more enjoyable than just me waffling on about team fights. But they're interesting to watch, and it allows me to understand the game a hell of a lot better than the way I used to view it. Nevertheless, I would like to thank everyone for watching. Leave a like down below if you want to. Subscribe if you're new around here. And I will see you guys later. This is also the final time I'll ever get to do this for the UKLC this split. So I will see you guys later. Peace! Also, the next episode of Anarchy Analysis is probably going to be a TSM episode. Why? Because I love TSM. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Team Diabolus. Team Diabolus